So this is called Transplant Cultural Diversity from City to Wilderness. I'm Milosz Pierwola. I was an attorney in Manhattan. What I started to do is I started to look for the real outdoors. And the reason I say real outdoors is because the significant majority of the population in the United States are individuals who have not gone to the wilderness. They're insulated in an environment where the only access to the wilderness that they have is through, unfortunately, popular media. A long time ago, there was not a lot of attention on it, but today, the adventure culture has grown into an in-your-face attitude. Just if you look at the shows that individuals are exposed to, now once again, I'm talking about metropolitan clients who haven't been out to the outdoors. The titles of these shows alone indicate to you the type and the way that the wilderness is presented to them. Survivor, Man versus Wild, Naked and Afraid. And these are shows that reward grossing each other out. They're shows that basically demonstrate a struggle, a competition with nature, rather than a symbiotic relationship that we're all familiar with, hopefully. Furthermore, for those who do actually get outdoors, this is what they participate in. So, all right, so just a quick show of hands. How many of you guys over here have participated in an outdoor obstacle race like the Spartan race or Tough Mudder? Wow, okay, I was actually expecting some hands to go up. It's any event where there is hundreds of participants that you're surrounded by. Paramedics that stand by every mile and a half or every checkpoint. And increasingly ridiculous artificial obstacles. Just so you guys know, these wires are electrocuted. And this guy is running through electrocuted wires. Huh. And so not only do these obstacles dissolve any semblance of actual outdoor wilderness, they actually encourage people to wear makeup and dress up because there's photographers all along the course taking photos of you as you're running through these courses. So as you can see, there is a serious problem here because the definition to a metropolitan client in an environment of a city is one where when you live in a city, your time is very discrete. And a workout does not necessarily mean recreation. So people use segways. They don't walk. They don't walk to get to places. You know, they take a car or they take public transportation. You jog to look good, not to go somewhere. The perception of these individuals is that, hey, if it's just in my backyard, it can't be that dangerous. And if any of you are from the East Coast, we have Mount Washington up in New Hampshire. It's one of the most dangerous mountains on Earth with many fatalities, because it has the strongest wind gusts and actually has alpine conditions in the winter. But people hike up there because it's a 45-minute drive from home. Individuals tell me that when somebody brings the wrong stuff, he did it to himself. How simple is it to read a gear list, right? I mean, it's literally a list of stuff to read. Well, let me show you what this gear list looks like to individuals who are from the city. So not only do I have to look this up in a dictionary, there might be other possible interpretations, and where am I going to get the capacity to be able to do all this research if I just want to go horseback riding? It's common sense, but it's not common sense to these individuals that have zero experience. So, well, you understand what the difference between Gore-Tex and down is. These are words these people never hear. This is important with the attention span as well. When metropolitan participants come out into the wilderness, they have everything is new to them. It's for the first time they're seeing these tall mountains instead of buildings, and basically they're used to this. And when they're walking through, there's so much stimulation. There is advertising on your phone, on your receipts, on taxi cabs, embedded into the asphalt on roads, LED signs, everything. And what they developed to actually work through this is in order to live in this noise, is a filter that just tells them about the most important things. It's something that's just developed over time. Unfortunately, that filter operates when they then go to the wilderness. And so they're used to discrete packets of information entering. And so when you're talking to them, it's not the same pace. You have to know how to kind of communicate with them. So it doesn't quite work out. And then one of the bigger problems also is they expect Wi-Fi to be everywhere. They can't drop their devices. They have their shuffle, they have their iPod, they have everything. And what ends up happening is these are individuals that grow up in a culture where that's necessary. And then when you go and disconnect, you get anxiety. You're thinking to yourself, oh my God, I didn't check my, what's going to happen? What if I didn't like these statuses? What's Cindy wearing? And anxiety that results from not being connected actually clouds judgment and limits the attention span. So now we're dealing with this filter that is malfunctioning from taking you from the city into the outdoors, and then you're getting anxiety on top of that, which is already just diminishing your attention span even further. And then anxiety symptoms manifest themselves in restlessness, irritability, insomnia. I mean, not everybody gets this, but metropolitan clients are a little bit more susceptible because you take away their item cold turkey when you go outdoors. The signal is gone. So while they may be able to play some games, there is that level of additional anxiety that exists. There's an actual habit that has formed, and there's actual symptoms of withdrawal that result from that. This is a funny picture that I found online, because the amount of time that they're away from these devices is almost non-existent. The distance that it takes for you to walk from here to the bathroom, I'm sure that some of you are taking your phone out and you're going on it. So imagine what happens to a person who is going on a week-long hike and they don't have access to their phone. Now this is another thing that I'll talk about, it's daily rituals. And daily rituals are important because this also adds to the anxiety that people have. So one daily ritual that I have, that I'm sure that all of you have as well, and maybe I'm a little bit more neurotic, is brushing my teeth. I brush my teeth every day. When I don't brush my teeth, at the end of the day, I actually feel with my tongue a little bit of fuzz on my teeth. And that causes me to be a little bit more panicky and not talk to people. I literally feel like if I go one night without brushing my teeth, if I'm talking to people, I'm actually punching you in the face with my halitosis. Okay? So we're talking about those kinds of ingrained daily rituals that cause you to kind of panic that way, because that's why if I come out of bed and I crawl out and I brush my teeth, that's how I learned to have good oral hygiene. So now we're talking about individuals who, as one guy says, they're expecting to go to a photo shoot in the woods. These guys put on makeup every day. They have to have hair gel. They have to shave. You have to shower. When are we going to shower? Can I just jump in that river? And the reason for this is because this is daily standards of living in the city. When you go out into the wilderness, it's different. And so I'm trying to make sure that you guys are a little bit more sensitive that this is daily living. If you did not do this in the city, it would be very fast, everybody would know what's going on. This is important because this is what people see. When you are out in the woods and you don't have makeup, you don't want photos taken of you. Because all the photos in your Facebook and all the video photos on your Instagram are you posing before you're going out with your girlfriends or your guy friends, and you got your hair done right, you got your clothes that you like wearing, and you look good. And when you don't have that stuff, you don't really look so good. And when you're in the wilderness, you're walking around, you don't have makeup, and you're sweaty, you're not going to put that photo up. It causes another level of anxiety, because individuals are just used to doing that. So the next thing is diet. People don't eat, they get hungry, and they don't have energy, they have low blood sugar, everything influences their decisions. And once again, it chips away at this limited attention span that they already have. This thing called a hierarchy of priorities. So this is where we're talking about the capacity for people to mentally engage. And they become so overwhelmed with everything, then I think if you guys were in Deb's workshop, she talked about how the brain becomes overwhelmed and it just kind of shuts down. It just kind of stops everything. And that's what happens with these guys too. There's so many things going on, they just end up focusing on the one thing. Let me just stay warm. I don't want to talk to anybody. So the next important thing here, this is kind of where I draw the connection, is what did you think when you were going to be guiding? Because when I interviewed guides about what they thought that guiding was going to be, they thought they were just going to take people out and they're going to do their own thing and they're just going to be there making sure that nothing went wrong. However, as you well know, this is the list that I was able to compile that goes on and on of what people expect for you to do. And so there's an expectation spectrum. Guides come in with thinking that this is all this job is, but there's all this additional responsibility that they have, and then their clients come in with completely unreasonable expectations. And so the fundamental problem is that just the role of a guide is not clearly defined. And the reason for this is because marketing right now focuses on getting the client, but it's not focused on creating a situation where there's a reasonable interaction. And the suggestion I have and what I use in my company and what the successful individuals that I spoke with expressed is that they use action words that don't add volume to marketing, but they clearly define things. So instead of saying ride with dog sleds, you can say run with the dog sleds, or action words, push the dog sled. Let people know, because there's people that are coming in and thinking that all they have to do is sit down and they press a button or the gas pedal and the dogs go, and then they press the brake and then they get out and everything's taken care of. I'm not joking. There's people that literally have walked off the sled and the sleds just go. Like, this regularly happens, even though we tell them not to do that. And so the goal of this entire presentation is that I believe that it's important to clearly define roles in the outdoor recreation exchange and the responsibilities of each side. Because when you have clients coming out expecting a 5-star course or 5-course dinner and expecting to wear makeup every day and shower and stay warm, they're going to be really upset if they have to deal with rain that doesn't stop and they don't have shelter, they have to put up their belts, and they're operating in wet clothing the entire time. And the reason that this is important is because within our lifetimes, we are going to reach Mars. This is a fact. Like, I'm pretty excited about that. I'm actually trying to be one of the people that ends up on Mars. But we're going to Mars. And there's people right now that are training in harsh environments in remote parts of the world in order to reach those places. And what's important is the people that are making decisions are living in cities, because that's where the financial capital for these expeditions is coming from. And the language that we're developing and this platform that we're developing right now is something that we need to kind of bridge that cultural gap so that we can communicate better. So there's an entire population of people out there. The significant majority of the United States population as well as the world population that hasn't been outdoors at all. And they're coming to us voluntarily. And this is a trend from 2006 to 2013. As you can see, there's 5 million more people per year going out into the wilderness. What we should be doing is we should be welcoming them with open arms, because they are making that extension to come out. And I do believe that it's important to raise that level of acceptance, because then we are going to be able to reach ever higher in the future as well, because the new frontier is opening up. So I really want to thank you for coming. These are some of the companies that I interviewed with. I really do think that this is an important topic. This is my first year presenting, so I appreciate you guys coming here and staying through the whole thing. And I'd like to open up the floor for any questions if you guys have any. Otherwise, thank you so much for coming.